After moving to Los Angeles about 7 years ago and had my opportunity to be here as a dancer, going to auditions, figuring out when the next job and what's happening here, you know, I guess what didn't stop me was my drive, my passion, and what I knew I can change because of what I had. If you know you're gifted with something so amazing and you know no one can stop you with that, push it, baby. Well, I'm from New York. I actually started out doing hip hop dancing, as a kid. I guess that's kind of the realm of what it is in New York City. You learn some type of style, and hip hop is kind of one of them. But I guess as the years moved on, I'm from the projects. I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I've been between that and Bed-Stuy. So I used to always be a part of like dance troupes growing up as well too. They had their project days and I was in my dance group dancing with the community, everything like that. That's when I was like a kid, 9, 10 years old, dancing in community. And at 14, I found voguing. And baby, after that, I never turned back. Even to a point when it comes to hip hop dancing, like I know I'm still involved in the realm, but like right now, Vogue is my world. And when I found that at 14, I just kept going back day after day, time after time. I learned the style. I found a place, I found a community where I was able to communicate, learn other people, grow, continuously go back to this environment and compete and become like an icon. And again, it's so interesting because people are learning about the bone culture and the bone world, and they're getting ideas about what we had going on here. But babe, we had this going on for a long time, a very long time. And I think people now have, they don't have the bird eye view. They're now landing into the whole, community and getting a full dive into what's going on. It wasn't as easy, definitely, as a Voguer years ago because people didn't understand the style. I remember they're calling us a specialty. I remember going to auditions and have to wait till everybody do their things, and I'm at the end to go at the end. Or then going into auditions and using my style on top of learning what they had to do. So I guess in the dance community from years ago compared to now, years ago I had to apply myself. I had to go to these auditions. I had to, go to wait to the end of these other auditions to try to participate to get an opportunity because they may have an idea for specialty to include. So it was kind of interesting in the beginning because people knew we were there. People knew they liked Vogue and they knew, it was out there. It was kind of the thing, but I guess people didn't have the understanding of it. And I also want to give a big ups to like, my friends and those who are part of my house family or even beyond who even moved out to the West Coast during a time where it wasn't being visualized to now auditions are happening all the time in Los Angeles around voguing. That's because we applied. We wanted to see ourselves in these environments and places too because we belong there, because you guys are doing our moves. You're doing all these dips and these voguing moves and all this other stuff. And rather than getting the creators and the people who are of the world and of the community, this is why we try to apply ourselves so we can get these spaces to understand where we are, who we are, and what we do. And it actually worked. So now when people go to auditions, they're like, I want the real thing. I want the real ballroom girls, and they know where to find us. They have an idea of where to go to find us. After moving to Los Angeles about 7 years ago and had my opportunity to be here as a dancer, going to auditions, figuring out when the next job and what's happening here, I guess what didn't stop me was my drive, my passion, and what I knew I can change because of what I had. If you know you're gifted with something so amazing and you know no one can stop you with that, push it, baby. And definitely if you want to be a part of this community, know what you want to go for and go for it. We have tons of categories. It's not just about voguing over here. Even in the dance world, what I implemented is what I knew with my community in this ballroom world. And I implemented it when I went to auditions and I danced and I taught classes and did all this other stuff. So now I have a whole show where I get to host and dance whenever I want to and move whenever I want to, and also teach those and inspire those after as I'm on this stage and they get this chance to be here. Because I was once there, but now I get the tenfold. I'm now there to push on the knowledge that I once received as well too. So I know what it's like for you to be there on stage and to receive critiques from judges. Child, I get it. But again, your passion will put you wherever you want to go. And definitely if it's to this community, just step it up, darling. Well, I started the House of Basquiat a year ago. And again, overall, when it comes to creating your own house, I didn't do this because, oh my God, I just wanted to be the next thing. I had a vision and a passion and a focus in me, and also some knowledge and education that I received from doing this, because I've been in this for 20 plus years. And although I look so young, thank you, oh my gosh. I'm now in a space where I can teach others. I have so many kids in different states, now growing them internationally. Again, I was a house father of another house, but I now wanted to create a legacy of my own. I wanted to also make sure that I'm directing those who love this community and who see the vision that I see and want to move in the value in the space that I move in, because I call it a Hollywood house. I have a Hollywood house, and that's what the ballroom scene call us. But the world's gonna know soon. Right now, I'm just getting to know my baby, starting to process my first kind of like ballroom child, if you want to say something. And I have a plethora of members that are so beautiful and that sees the vibe, and they're my kings and my queens because we wear our crowns. And this is why, again, the name Basquiat, the talent that came from it, the perseverance that came from it, the knowledge and information. And he was from Brooklyn. Oh gosh, again, is the vibe. We were known in the ballroom world to create these names from these Eurocentric names, or that we know from labels that don't even belong to us. Now they're starting to support us and everything like that. You got these fashion labels coming to our events, and they're hearing that we have their names, but this should have been going on a long time ago. I wanted to also use something that was familiar to me, someone that I look to and I can understand when I hear the name, so the talent stuck within that name and the base, and why wouldn't I? So, it was inevitable, but I had to use it because what we're known to use for, and change the dynamic of what was going on in my community. So that name of me bringing it as a house changed the whole vibe of what ballroom would do. Because usually we'll use labels like, oh my God, Gucci, oh my God, Prada. But I did something different. I took the knowledge and history from what I knew and brought it forth.